Welcome back to the Culture Climate Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Brentz, and today we'll be bringing you another interview from our time in Viva Las Vegas at the International Roofing Expo, where I was joined by Will Stout and Brian Kinkade from Apple Roofing. In this captivating conversation, Will and Brian dive into the multifaceted dynamics of workplace culture, emphasizing the pivotal roles of production efficiency, quality standards, and safety protocols. Through those key areas, they emphasize the importance of employee growth, advocating for accountability while nurturing human potential. Through their own personal stories, Will and Brian share the profound impact of investing in themselves and their team members. So stay tuned for a great conversation on culture, leadership, and the human experience. Welcome to Culture Climate, presented by STC. Company culture is complex, like trying to track down Sasquatch. We're here to dive into the belly of the beast. Join us for firsthand stories from leaders, along with transformative ideas and insights impacting organizations and people. Ready to climb it? Let the journey begin. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Culture Climate Podcast, and we are fired up. We're live from the International Roofing Expo in Las Vegas, and today we're here with Will Stout and Brian Kinkade from Apple Roofing.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Today, we're here to talk about culture, okay? Really, at the end of the day, we're trying to track down the mythical creature that is the beast Sasquatch. And so we're trying to find sightings of great culture. And by doing that, we're talking to people with different organizations that have experienced it themselves. And we're trying to extract those key ideas and insights that can help as many people and companies as possible. So I just kind of wanted to start there for both of you. Tell us a little bit about your journey being a part of organizations with varying degrees of culture. Can y'all speak to that a little bit? Will, you want to start us out?
Sure. I think as far as culture goes, as long as I've advanced in my career, I've been able to be a part of multiple different companies that provided different types of cultures. And I think it's based on individualism as well as a group setting.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody has their own culture and everybody can contribute to that culture in positive ways.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Brian?
Well, to see the company, and I've been with Apple for almost 14, 15 years now, and like you said, you're climbing a mountain. Like
Yes.
It is something that you got to build on, and how it's kind of helped, I guess, develop through it all and kind of capture that culture is, one, you got to just invest in your people.
Yes.
Like at the end of the day, they're human beings over being just your employees. And I think if you can invest your time into them, build them up, again, come up with your core values so you're all beating to the same drum and really kind of do it. That's going to help kind of get everybody aligned and beaten and going down the same path. And that just takes time. That's not like a light switch. I don't think it's something you can turn on and off, but you got to build it. It's like your guy here. You got to climb the mountain, man. It's work, and you got to get to the top of it, and it just takes time.
It's a journey,
It
right?
is,
Like
100%.
one of our core values at STC is enjoy the journey. And that comes with the peaks, the valleys, all in between.
Yep.
And so I loved you talking about the core values at Apple Roofing. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the core values there?
Yeah, obviously it was a little play on words, Apple Core.
Yeah.
So our core principles, we kind of just broke it down as an acronym, like using core, like we're customer advocates, opportunity makers, reputation builders, and excellence seekers.
Nice.
We really want that to, encompass all parts of our organization. I mean, from customers, employees, leadership, the whole shebang there. And it's really, I think, served us very well as a group and as a company as a whole.
Awesome. What does that practically look like? I love the core element, right? Because that truly is the core and foundation of an organization, the core values. But then, like, practically speaking, how does that show up? Can you give any examples of what that looks like at your company?
I think a lot of it starts, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I think a lot of it starts, I think a lot of people believe that it's from, top down. But I think core values when it comes to even our, I'm missing a word here, our reputation. I think that starts at the very bottom, even with, your brand new guys, even your laborers or people that are new to the company. And if you can display what you believe that core is to them, it helps contribute continually to that idea of core values.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talk a lot as we deal with a lot of companies. We're dealing with different levels of the organization. So at the very bottom, with the labor side, the ones that are actually doing the work, the middle management, which is oftentimes having to take the viewpoints of the leadership and drive that to the laborers, and then obviously at the top, really setting the tone. Okay, so how have you guys in your positions, I know you're overseeing different groups and different locations, like how have you been able to integrate those different levels through your core values?
So I think part of it is structuring the company in the correct, putting the right people in the right positions, managing the right pieces of those processes. Like you said, you got production, you got your crew members out doing the work, doing the installs, you got your sales staff and sales team out acquiring the business, so it keeps everybody busy. And then you got your leadership that's, again, trying to keep those safety rails up and keep everybody kind of like, keep everything from going haywire on you and imploding on you from the inside out. Because when work gets more difficult than it really needs to be, it affects everybody.
Yes.
It affects the sales team, affects the production people. And then if those people are getting stressed out, the sales leaders and the leadership get stressed out because we take that personally. Like we care enough to take it personally. So I really think like from all those positions, again, if everybody's aligned and you are trying to keep it within those safety rails, I think you're going to kind of stay on the course you want to be, and you're going to win at the end of the day. More consistently not. And I'm not going to say you're not going to have any challenges, but you're going to win more often than most.
Yeah, safety is such a foundational element. It's a great kind of a rally cry, if you will, to get people on the same page. So that's what we love about what we do, is because we know at the end of the day, it's a people business, and safety is just a foundation to like spread a bigger message of taking care of people the right way and ultimately setting up a positive culture. So kind of moving forward, so what are some ways that you all have in your unique positions tried to continue to spread the culture at Apple Roofing?
So spreading culture for me is, I'll start a little bit on my background. I started as a laborer 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And as I've exceeded, in this industry over the years, I found out that I had to adapt and I had to change my ways and become like those around me that I wanted to be surrounded by to get to that level. And for me, as you speak on safety, I think if you're going to promote any kind of culture or even, the idea of care for homeowners, or even care for your own employees, safety is a starting point for any kind of, our reputation for your own company.
Absolutely. No, it's good. Absolutely. I mean, it really starts there. And then you talked about quality and production. It's kind of like the three-prong approach, right? So how has culture kind of been embedded into any of those prongs, whether it's safety, production, or quality? Have you seen that?
Go ahead.
No, you just go ahead and kick that one off.
So it's something that can be looked at in many ways for me, because a lot of people, they're forced with the idea of having to get the job done quickly, which will risk your quality. And if you look at the idea of safety slowing you down, that also affects your idea of safety in general, in my opinion, if that makes sense. But overall, I think the starting point for quality and production is maintaining a level of safety that is known versus being taught every single day, or if you were to find something to point it out individually every time. If you have that starting point and that respect and aspect of safety from the start, and I think that's where it falls in line with that.
Awesome.
We work in a dangerous industry. We just want to make sure everybody goes home to their families at the end of the day.
Correct.
Simple as that.
I truly believe that there's no excuse for safety, and that's where safety starts.
Absolutely.
Or lack of safety.
That too. So good deal. What about what brings you guys energy about what y'all do? Like what excites you? What's kind of like your deeper why of what you do?
Seeing our team members win. Simple as that. Like when you can bring somebody in and maybe they have zero knowledge of the roofing industry at all, and you can invest time, training, give them all the tools they need to do the job, and they can actually learn that and go change their livelihood and set them and their families up for success. And we've had a number of success stories where we've had people come in and maybe they were in a tough position. I'm not going to share any personal details, but completely turn their life around.
Wow.
And be in a much better position for them and their family. And honestly, that gives me energy being a sales leader. Just seeing our guys win. And because obviously if they're winning as a company, we're winning, and then everybody's in a good mood, culture's good. It all kind of starts to encompass and wrap together.
I want to just stop there. So winning, we love that. We're all about making great plays at STC. That's another core value of ours, which ultimately leads to winning. And what you said there that stood out to me was empowering them with learning and knowledge to like specialize in a craft and what they do.
Yeah.
So can you speak to more on that, like how that process looks for you guys?
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, when we bring on new employees, we're going to give them a full onboarding training.
Okay.
And
awesome.
I mean, it's generally a week long. It's rigorous. It's how are roofs properly installed, product knowledge, presentation knowledge, how to work and go through a sales pitch with a homeowner, how to use CRMs. I mean, it literally covers all the bases and all the duties of the job, and it's a very detailed and intricate training.
Yeah.
And that's something we really kind of took pride on. I mean, starting back in like 2013.
Nice.
And we recognized very quickly that by investing this week of time on a new hire, and I mean, it's not just like, hey, hop in the truck, ride with me for the sales appointment, watch what I do, now go play, go do it yourself. Like, no, it's very, I mean, we work with them. And not only that, they go through this training, and then we continue to work with them on a regular basis, whether it's doing role play or ride-alongs with them in the field. And not necessarily trying to judge or anything, but maybe can tweak, like, hey, man, that was really good.
Yeah.
But maybe try and adjust this here.
Or tweak it. How do you refine it?
Right. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there we want to serve and we want to help. And honestly, like, if we can help our guys capture that business and understand that, like, hey, it's not like we're going out and trying to sell, we're not building a roof, we're trying to just help people at the end of the day. And if you can get everybody operating underneath that like mentality, they're going to start to win, like themselves. They're going to see them as being productive in their jobs or duties and being a public servant, essentially, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a winning mindset right there. And you're part of that process of helping them understand that their why. You know? So that's great.
And we're all humans. We all have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
And I think from a sales leadership role, you got to understand, like, guys maybe having a bad day. Maybe it's not just professional reasons. Maybe it's personal.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Sit down. We're all human.
Human beings,
like,
man.
You can get a lot of energy from just getting to know your people personally.
Yeah, I think that's just an inherent quality that we're all created with. Is just like to be known and appreciated, and to learn and grow. Like that's how we're formed naturally. And so when a leader is intentional about those actions, that speaks volume over time. And so I appreciate that. What about you, Will?
For me on that, I did start as a production laborer. That's where I started at the very bottom of the company. And I've built myself up to have what I would call a quality position in this company. And I'm always appreciative of that. But what I get out of that and what brings me joy is I'm also a big advocate for promoting within a company versus going outside to find somebody that you think may better fit the mold. But when I can teach my guys day in and day out as to where they have a one-week training and they continually go back and forth with those guys and always go out and help them and advocate for them as they do. And, I do that same thing with my employees. It just takes a more prolonged period of time to do so because I'm still training laborers that can turn into foreman, that can turn into a project manager, a roofing superintendent, or even at some point maybe an estimator.
Yeah.
But for me to know that I can make it here, I think that if I can teach someone else to do it as well. And that brings me a lot of happiness and I like to promote positivity.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me happy about being able to do what I do.
Yeah, that's super awesome that, you're a testimony to the ability to start from the low level and then rise up through the chain. And each level, I mean, it brings immense value to what you do. You talked about it beforehand, all the different components of your service offering, but to be able to grow on a trajectory, like that gives people a lot of hope, you know what I mean? That they can see growth opportunities within the company that they work at.
Yep.
And that they see that people are getting promoted internally and they're not going outside the organization to bring people in. And you're a living testimony of that. So that's really cool.
Well, and I think that also helps, promote their own value to themselves as well.
Yeah.
Is seeing that they are climbing that ladder. And it's one thing that I don't think that a person can truly see is they're doing it for themselves and not for the company itself.
Yeah.
And again, it's just the value that they can bring to their own self.
Yeah. That's a great point. I think about just how does workplace culture, how does that look for us as individuals and as a company? You know what I mean? You just spoke to it. Like, I'll speak to it like, how are you showing up in your personal life and in the professional life? How does that look for y'all?
Balance,
yeah.
I mean, and honestly, in this industry, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, that's tough to do. This is a job that can be pretty demanding of your time.
Sure.
And first and foremost, like, that old slogan, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
If you can keep your personal life manageable and in order and do the things that make you happy, that's going to show up in work too. And that's going to probably, breed a little positivity throughout the group as well. Like, I love that you got this little mountainside. A couple of years ago, I challenged their team, like, if anybody was interested, we were going to go make a group trip out to Colorado, and we're going to go climb Mount Elbert, which is like one of the tallest mountains in Colorado, 14,000 foot. And it really was a good thing. Like, guys kind of had to get themselves into shape a little bit. Yeah. You could kind of feel the energy. Everybody's pumped up. The weeks leading up to it, everybody's talking about it. Like, there's this buzz. We're out working. Yeah. We're out, like, we're killing it at this time. But we're also going to go do something really cool to kind of like celebrate our efforts in the professional side. So it's kind of like doing those things like, hey, I'm going to help you grow professionally, but hey, let's go do something personal that's really cool, like outside of our daily job duties. Yeah. And I think if you can like kind of keep those going, especially again, going from a culture standpoint, like, man, you're going to get a lot of buy-in from your team, and dude, they'll run through walls for you. They'll go into battle for you. They'll run into storms, do everything you need so you guys can all come out victorious at the end.
That's amazing that y'all did that. I know not all companies have the luxury to do some big events or challenge like that, but I agree. Like, from the anticipation of the big event to obviously going through the challenge as a team, but then on the back end of that, like those are memories and like things that people will remember for the rest of their life. And hopefully that keeps them there for as long as possible. You retain good talent, but even if they move on, you better believe that they're going to remember, you know, that moment, that experience. So that's super cool that you did that.
Making memories.
Yeah,
for sure.
Awesome. Well, just kind of wrap things up here. So just all the things that you've learned and a lot of stuff that you talked about already, guys. I mean, what would you tell other leaders that are also trying to make this climb? You know, it's a challenge, it's a journey. But what would you tell them to focus on based off your experience?
I would say, honestly, one day at a time. Success waits for literally no one.
Yeah.
And if you want it, you're going to have to take it because no one's going to give it to you. Those are words that my dad had said to me from a young age, and it's something I carry with me every day.
Yeah, those are wise words. One day at a time.
From a leadership standpoint, I'm going to, again, something that we've learned going through all these steps and over the years, get very specific and define like your core principles, whatever they may be. Get very, like, a really strong understanding of what those are, believe in them, and run with that. Invest in your people. Yeah. Simple as that. And understand at the end of the day, they're human beings. Again, safety. We want everybody to go home safe at the end of the night. We want them to be happy. We want them to be able to do the things they want to do. But like he said, we're going to work hard. We're going to earn those privileges as well.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. Well, good deal, guys. I really appreciate y'all coming by and being part of the Culture Climate podcast. Hope you guys have a great rest of your show.
Hey, man.
And we look forward to seeing you out there.
Appreciate you having us.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah.